going up as well, but producing Dragonhawks. Dragonhawks obviously quite nice against Dryades. Actually pretty nice against all the units we're seeing here, because the Tinker isn't too good against flying, just because things like Pocket Factory really not too useful. And this Tinker is actually 6.5 now. Obviously, going beyond 6 really isn't too important for the Tinker. It's sort of obviously it's much better, but once you've gotten 6, that's sort of the holy grail. And some small creeping now going up for Style. Style probably hoping to get level 4 in this Mountain King. Obviously, for just that bash is quite nice, and does get it, and does get a Tome of Agility, the worst tome we could have got really. And ooh, a Paladin coming out there. That's a really interesting choice. I quite like that choice actually, because obviously both his heroes can be healed, and he does have to do a fair bit of tanking on his heroes, so being able to heal them will be quite useful. And Style continuing to creep out now, but meanwhile his base being attacked by this Robo-Goblin. Robo-Goblins do so much damage. I hope we get to see him attacking a tower. Sorry I missed the first attack of a tower, but that's just so much fun to watch him being attacked. And the TP does come in here, Style going for a Haze Fire, and still no Master Training on these bears. One will go down, and that's really careless. Losing bears before they've gone into Master Form is just so careless. You just need to be very careful with them, and you should be able to keep them alive. And Tinker hasn't managed to kill any units yet, still sort of just hovering around 6.5, but it looks like he did have a Pocket Factory, which as you can see, just Pocket Factory level 3. I've been saying the whole game how much damage Pocket Factory does, so Pocket Factory level 3 with level 2 engineering upgrade, just so amazing. Like, it's just crazy damage. If we see him get level 7, he might well go for engineering upgrade level 3. I imagine he would. And actually, I think the most surprising bit of this game, or I say most surprising, actually, it isn't even close to the most surprising bit, is this late tech to tier 3, because it means no orb for item, and that could be pretty costly for him, because when this heir comes out, and it has been promising. Yeah, there's 5 Dragonhawks already out. When this heir is used, he will have no counter to this heir. The Dryades will be focused down so quickly, and these bears will be completely useless. He won't have an orb. Could be really bad, and yet the Tinker is now in the base, and you can just see him destroying this blacksmith, doing sort of close to 100 damage with each hit. And actually, I say 100. It's about 70 damage with each hit, and it's just so it's just so powerful. It's just crazy watching this one Tinker just manage to completely destroy a building. I've always thought it'd be amazing if you get pillage with a Tinker, and just sort of you get gold so quickly. He's like the equivalent of having like 5 or 6 raiders, or maybe not that many, but a whole bunch of raiders. Just as one hero, it's magic immune. He has a bunch of hit points, really fast movement, bunch of armor. It's just such a crazy ultimate. And I think it probably caught Style a bit off guard, because he probably wasn't thinking about the possibility of a 6 Tinker based on the fact that he's gone for a Mountain King and a Panda, and the Paladin's a much better choice. But we are now seeing a push here, and this could be really bad for Style, or for item, I beg your pardon. I think he has had a bit of fun at this point, but it's looking really dangerous for him. Being forced to use a TP just to get his Tinker back in, just to sort of give an idea of the danger of the posed to him in this fight. He does finally have bear form. He has picked up an orb immediately as well, and he will probably be using his Tinker to just attack all those air units once. And we are now seeing a fight here. That Mug Golem being focused down really quickly. Obviously it's a very high priority target, and actually some peasants being brought in. Obviously you can't use militia form at his second base, because it's not at a high enough tier. And Tinker now actually getting pretty close to 7, hit 7 now, and we'll have to see. I guess he's going to go for engineering upgrade again. But he does have this one Pocket Factory which is continuing to do damage, and actually I think the fact that he's been in a space has meant that they can produce a couple extra units, and those have been quite useful here. These air units are slowly being focused down, but this Tinker's taking a lot of damage, down to 500 hit points from originally 1200, and so he will need to be pretty careful just not to lose it again. But that Paladin is taken down, obviously level 1 Paladin, no Divine Shield, pretty easy target. And these priests actually will be focused down pretty quickly as well, I assume. He isn't doing it at the moment, but they're such an easy target, and they're at such low hit points that it's really well worth taking it down. And Pocket Factory going here, actually blocking the Tinker, I think. And so and not rallying his goblins as well, so that Pocket Factory being a bit of a waste. But one more priest being taken down quickly, and it looks like this Tinker will need to be careful, down to less than 300 hit points, and it looks like these Dryades will just pick off these unarmored units, and this Tinker really bold actually. One stray bash actually I was just going to say one stray bash could come in, and immediately it did. And Tinker down to 90 hit points, 70 hit points, does get taken down. Level 4 immediately on that Panda, and this is actually really bad for item. It's a bit of a shame that Tinker was doing so well, level 7, and will take a very long time to tavern back. He does actually have more than enough gold to be taverning it back, and meanwhile, an expansion now coming in for Style and item as well. We'll have to see who actually wins it, but these militia will be able to take it down. We'll have to hope that he cancels it. But this Tinker now being bought back, I beg your pardon, this Tinker being bought back will have to be healed on the moon walls. And level 5, is that? Yeah, level 5 on that Mountain King. Will be nice against the bears. Really nothing else that he can use it against once that Tinker goes back into Robo-Goblin form. And we are now seeing a Wisp here, so that fortunately item was paying enough attention that he managed to cancel his expansion rather than he just losing it. And what are we now seeing? We are seeing a Clarity being used on that Tinker. Obviously needs to get back a whole bunch of mana really quickly. Has used Moonwalls, buys the Staff of Teleportation actually. Maybe he's going to do some harassment, going into Robogoblin form and immediately TPing, it must be to that, yeah it is to that Wisp. And he's immediately just going to put down a Pocket Factory and just go to town. Wow, look at the damage on those buildings. Just absolutely insane. I just can't express my love enough for the Robo-Goblin form of the Tinker. And you can just see this one Pocket Factory, pretty much on its own, will be able to take down this Town Hall. Probably won't actually be able to, but we'll have to see whether or not he repairs it once it's done. And another push now coming in, and Style doing a really good job actually of just continuing to put on the pressure, not giving item a chance just to sort of taking advantage or even pulled off the expansion well, and Style continuing just to focus on these strides with these Dragon Hawks, and that's some really important play because otherwise those strides could be really deadly, especially in this sort of close these are all in sort of the proximity of all these buildings where it's really easy just to get your opponent sort of snake up and stuff. And this Paladin taking a lot of focus again, but does get a bit blocked by or the Tinker gets a bit blocked, but the Tinker actually, or the Paladin in a really dangerous position, does need to be careful. I don't think there's a staff. No, there isn't a staff, and so that Paladin does go down. Level 8 on that Tinker, and cluster rockets have now been researched, and immediately using them, the oh wow, the Mountain King being forced to use a invuln pot at 9 hit points, and that Panda now being taken down, and the Tinker really a huff, but they does go down actually at the last second, or sorry, the Panda goes down at the last second there, and the Tinker does survive with fewer than 200 hit points remaining, and this Wisp being TP2 again actually. The Town Hall actually still only one Masonry upgrade, but looks like item just puts on this Pocket Factory. That'll be enough to take it down alone, and he can chase down these peasants with his Tinker, which is actually really low hit points. He probably should put it back into normal form, get a rejuvenation off on it, and these 2 Wisps will be taken down with this Dragon Hawk Rider, although item does notice it, so he'll prolong the chase a bit. And an expansion now going up for item as well, and so maybe item still in this game. It's hard to say because 3 heroes versus 1, even if it's a level 8 Tinker, it's still a very hard trick to pull off. And this expansion down to 1,000 gold, and I imagine the other expansion is already gone. So it's actually 1-to-1 mining at this point. Oh no, sorry, 1-to-0 mining. This items mine just ran out now, you can see, and so it really is a battle for this mine here. And at the moment, it's a battle that item is winning. And we'll have to hope that he can actually hold on. I'm sorry if I'm being a bit biased here, but I'm definitely rooting for item, and I don't care if you're human and you love the Mount King Paladin Panda Tri-Hero, but there's just no way you can't be supporting item in this situation. He is so much the underdog. He was lamed at the beginning. He went for an interesting hero, and he's got to a high level. You're basically defining hero in my eyes. And these wisps being used to heal up. Obviously, it's good if you're low on moon juice, and that's exactly what he is basically. And so he's moving back into normal form. I'm not sure if he's actually using moon nose now. I'm not sure. Obviously he's going for the mana, but I'm not sure why he's gone back into a normal form, because obviously that would just help with the health, which he was already at full health. So a bit odd. And he's dropped a circlet. We'll pick it back up. Has rebuilt an Ancient of Wonders, and so maybe gonna buy a healing potion or a staff, or yeah, buys a healing potion. Probably won't need a mana potion, because the Tinker always has mana, especially level 8 Tinker has 600 mana, and you don't never really have that much to spend it on, because you always are on cooldown. Although Cluster Rockets has a really short cooldown. It's actually a really fun skill. It's unfortunately vastly underpowered, and so it never really gets used, apart from occasionally in Elf vs Orc, where some Korean elves used to use it, not too much anymore. And item actually going to continue to creep, obviously just for the pithy amounts of gold and the sort of generally quite good item. We'll have to see what item he gets. There's certainly quite a range in this situation, I think, actually, because of his mana considerations. Pendant of Mana, or Pendant of Energy, which is normally the best item you can get from this. Probably would be one of the worst at this point, but we'll have to see. Ring of Protection actually again could be quite nice considering how much tanking he has to do on his sticker, and he gets a Talisman of Evasion. Generally a terrible item actually if you consider how much damage you actually avoid. It's really not that much, and meanwhile, Style has managed to retake this expansion, and he is now putting up a Town Hall, and so I think this could be sort of the last nail in the item's coffin, unless he manages to take it back immediately. But it looks like he isn't putting any priority on this, and he's instead attacking this bind with 70 gold left. It's really not a good thing to do at this time. I think he probably will realize this pretty soon, and will hopefully decide to move away and move to a to the mine that has probably around 10,000 gold. What is it? Oh, 11,000 gold left in it, and Sao has now started mining here, and item must be aware of this at this point. And meanwhile, this Tinker in Robogoblin form, just sort of wreaking some havoc at this point, probably having a bit of fun. Looks like he was going to try and take out these aviaries maybe or something, but decided against it, and certainly that's the best choice. His time could be better spent elsewhere, and he has 5 Dryads now, 0/0 upgrades, and his Tree of Eternity is now mined up, and it looks like he's going to uproot all his ancients. He